Welcome everyone, I am Enikő Kubinyi, a senior researcher at the Department of Ethology, Eötvös Loránd University, Budapest, Hungary. In this talk, I will present the symptoms and the molecular background of canine dementia. If anyone has ever seen an elderly dog over 10 years old wandering around aimlessly, or one who gets lost in the apartment and can't get out from under a chair, or has forgotten where the door opens, they have probably met a dog suffering from canine cognitive dysfunction. In addition to disorientation, a typical symptom is that the dog reacts differently to family members, for example, greeting its owner less often. There may be problems with house training from time to time, or impairment in the sleep-wake cycle, when the dog walks around at night but naps a lot during the day. Nearly 70% of dogs over the age of 15 have at least one symptom a week. In this talk, I present our research, which we conducted together with the American Dog Aging Project and published in the journal Neuroscience. Research on canine dementia is important for at least two reasons. One stems from the emotional and economic importance of dogs. In Europe, there are 20 million more dogs than there are children under the age of 15. Most people consider dogs to be part of the family. They want to do everything so that their dog can live as long and healthy as possible. The intention to make dogs live longer and longer seems to be succeeding. In the last 2-3 decades, the life expectancy of dogs has increased by 4-5 years in Western culture. In this graph, based on 11 publications, I have collected how long dogs usually live. According to the first publication, published in 1997, dogs lived an average of 7 years. According to the one published in 2020, dogs lived up to 15 years. This may also be due to the fact that small dogs, such as the Chihuahua in this figure, live longer than large dogs, and small dogs are becoming more common nowadays. However, the longer a dog lives, the greater the chance that it will develop CCD, canine cognitive dysfunction. According to a recent study, dogs do not usually develop CCD before the age of 10, but after that, the chance increases sharply. This is very bad news for dogs and dog owners, but valuable for science. The symptoms of human dementia are very similar to canine dementia: forgetfulness, orientation problems, movement difficulties, irritability, sleep disorders, hallucinations, incontinence. In its last stage, the patient is completely dependent upon caregivers. The most common cause of dementia is Alzheimer's disease. It is characterized by amyloid beta plaques and tau tangles in the brain, which damage the functioning of nerve cells. Dementia usually occurs over the age of 60, but nearly half of people over the age of 90 are also affected. As people are living longer, the number of patients is increasing. It is expected that in 2050, the prevalence of dementia will be 3% in Europe. Of course, researchers are doing everything in their power to cure the disease, to treat the disease. But there is a problem, namely the fact that dementia does not naturally occur among the animals most often used for aging studies. The gene-edited animals has low or no translational value in Alzheimer's research. Therefore, practically no results have been achieved in the treatment of the disease in the last 40 years. There are some animal species, such as orcas, apes, cats and dogs, which naturally develop the symptoms of dementia. However, there are many ethical problems with keeping these animals in captivity. and the laboratory environment is very far from the diversity observed in nature. For this reason, we believe that family dogs are unique animal models for dementia research because they live in a similar environment and have a similar lifestyle. They are also genetically very diverse. On the one hand, we are studying canine dementia because dogs are very valuable to people, but they also help research into human aging as animal models. In recent years, in the Senior Family Dog Project of the Eötvös Loránd University, we investigated how family dogs age and how their aging is similar to that of humans. Within this program, we created a dog brain and tissue bank. Today, thanks to the owners' donations, there are already 168 dog brains in it. The bank is based on donations from the owners. The bank is also open to scientific collaborations. Researchers of the University of Washington also approached us with an offer. They developed an assay that can be used to measure the level of amyloid beta, which is associated with Alzheimer's disease and damages the functioning of brain cells. We sent samples from 45 dog brains to the United States and they measured the levels of this peptide. We found that the older the dog was, the higher the amyloid beta peptide level was in the examined brain areas. The horizontal axis shows the age and the vertical the amyloid beta level. We examined the 3 brain areas. In all 3 cases, the correlation between age and amyloid beta level was significantly positive. We also asked the owners to fill in a questionnaire. We asked them, for example, how often the dog circled up and down without purpose, how often stared at the wall, get stuck behind furniture, or did not recognize familiar people. When we compared this score with amyloid beta levels, we found that the greater the level of cognitive decline was, the higher the level of beta amyloid in the brain. These 2 results confirmed that the molecular mechanism of cognitive decline in dogs can be similar to that of humans with Alzheimer's disease. But how can dog dementia be prevented? Sadly, we don't know it exactly. This is why more research is needed. But certainly large dogs do not develop CCD as they die earlier. Calorie restriction can help, as thinner dogs can expect a longer life than obese dogs. Physical training keeps the vascular system in good condition. Mental training is also helpful. It is important that traumatic experiences should be avoided. All dogs often can't hear well, can't see well, and therefore might become more easily scared. And of course, regular veterinary consultations are also needed because dementia-like symptoms are often caused by other diseases or can be a sign of pain, which can be or should be alleviated. Finally, I am grateful to my colleagues who help in maintaining the brain bank and to the owners for the donations. And thank you for your attention.